Hello people of the internet. Today I'm going to be going over my solo strategy for the new Torment version of Winterfest 2023. This event's pretty cool. It's added some new items as well as bringing back some old items, and it also contains the usual standard Torment challenges. And so, as I usually do with these events, I'm just going to share how I won. This item is going to act as your crowd control, taking out all of the smaller things like the copters, the grunts, the cleaners, all of those smaller enemies that come in waves. Fang of Gilgamesh is going to be the major way of healing and also just a support, because you can summon the trains to hit a bunch of stuff. You can use the nuke, but mainly it's going to be used for quick healing, and you'll see why when we get there. Now, this is the only item in the strategy that isn't going to be required, because I understand that this was a fairly difficult item to get, Ocean's Authority. However, I still want to use it because it's a really good item to use. The main thing I'm using this for is slowing down seals, because if I press X, these summons here, the Aquaphalanx summons, they spawn these geysers, and these geysers have collision, so they slow down the seals, basically stopping them, which gives you a lot more time to kill them. However, if you do not have Ocean's Authority, there's a really good alternative for this, which would be Staff of Conflict, but make sure that you are using Kitsune Charm with it, because that's how it slows things down. So basically, Staff of Conflict can apply the Charm debuff, and with its fast fire rate, when you're firing at something with Staff of Conflict, it basically just locks it in place. It can't move because it's constantly being applied with the Charm effect, so it's really good at stopping the seals. So if you don't have Ocean's Authority, use Staff of Conflict. And then we have Equinox Crossbow. This is going to be your main DPS towards larger enemies such as the Sanabots, and if you're not using Staff of Conflict, then the seals. But mainly we're going to be using it for a Comet. And although you can only have 4 weapons equipped at once, we're also going to be using the Equinox Seal. Once you're on wave 14, about to get to the boss, unequip Equinox Cannon because you won't need it then anymore, and replace it with Equinox Seal because this is going to be a DPS to help kill Comet quicker. So now for the equipment, the first thing we're going to use is Ocean's Purity. This is pretty useful because not only does it give you a shield, but it immediately heals you to full when you use it. This is probably one of the most important items nowadays, since with this Winterfest update, they nerfed a lot of the healing, so it's really nice to be able to heal to full in one move. Now, Ocean's Purity, this was an item that was in the summer event, and it was pretty common if you played, but if you don't have it, I recommend really any equipment that gives you a small shield or healing. You can experiment with this, but just generally a support should be put in this slot. Next, we have Aromatic Seagrass. This is another summer item that's currently unobtainable. However, it has a really good alternative. In the Rain Merchant shop that appears every once in a while, you can find an item called Consumer Might Spice, and it spawns Leucophos. Now, this is going to be a really good alternative for Shell Shock, because it has a really high HP and it's really beefy, so it serves generally the same purpose. And if you can't get one of those, then test out Cybele. It's a really common drop from the Zug Mothership fight. You get there through the not mysterious teleporter, it's miniature teleporter. You get to it through there. Any of those 3, Shell Shock, Leucophos, Cybele, any of those will work. You just want something that will distract enemies. And then finally we have Festive Slay. This is just for mobility purposes. I think it helps a lot during the Comet fight, but you really don't need it. I recommend swapping this out with Eternal Winter, the drop from the Torment twins, if you're going to use Staff of Conflict instead of Ocean's Authority, so that you can have more mage damage and do more DPS with it to the seals. So this is the accessories we're going to use. You can go ahead and pause and look at these if you want to equip them, if you're going to follow the strategy. However, if you're not going to use Ocean's Authority and you plan to use Staff of Conflict instead, use these accessories instead. I should have put them on the screen here when I edit the video. Use these instead, since you're going to have a mage weapon in your loadout. And that's basically it for the build. That's the equipment I'll be using. For the back accessory, it really doesn't matter what you use. I just use Aura of Death because it's one of, if not my favorite items. I just use it for cosmetic purposes, but you could always equip something cheap like Relic of Avarice just for smaller buffs to help you win, but don't worry about the back accessory too much. So one of the things that makes this event difficult is that unlike past events, you have enemies coming from multiple directions. Now, of course, in the summer event, you had like a wide area of enemies coming, but it was still generally one area. But over time, more like paths will unlock where enemies will come from. So I guess in past events, my advice would have been to stay back so that you have time to kill things, but unfortunately, you're not the target, the tree is. So it's better if you just put yourself out there. Now that doesn't mean like, you know, stand right beside the enemies and get pummeled, but kind of just like a silver lining, like a zone between the tree and the enemies, so that you're not directly in front of them, yet you're being targeted, if that makes sense. That's also one of the purposes that Shell Shock serves. You can see him on the left. He acts as a meat shield, I guess, so that he absorbs a lot of damage. Not only does he have high health, like Lycophos does, if you're using that instead, but with Glyph of Life, your things are going to heal. So these first 4 waves 1 through 4, aren't really anything all that difficult. You just have to use your Equinox Cannon to hit all the things coming from the front. And Ocean's Authority summons aren't really required right now. I just summon them for fun since they help. It's one of those things, if you have it, use it. If you don't, you're not going to die. So I mentioned earlier that I would show you the main purpose of Fang and its healing, but I guess I can go ahead and tell you. Basically, Fang of Gilgamesh has a lifesteal feature when you use M1 and X, mainly M1. But the thing is, the last Spirit of Christmas, the tree, is counted as an entity, so you can use lifesteal on the tree without taking any health from it, and heal really, really quickly. So anyway, the Grinch is the first easiest boss. Just use your Equinox Cannon to hit it in like 3 hits. Just try not to like do any rapid fire moves on it because it'll parry. But this is when the difficulty kind of scales up a little bit, just because enemies are coming from 2 directions now. But kind of distribute your Equinox Cannon. A little pain for everyone. you know what I mean? Just shoot in one direction some, and then shoot in the other direction, and then go back to the other side. Just spread it out, I guess. And if you're using Ocean's Authority, those summons will also help. But you can see there, I just healed up using the tree. It also helps with the mimics a lot, because when you're running around, you're not really thinking about the mimics that might come and snag you. So if you do get hit by one of those, you can just go to the tree and heal up real quick. I'm not sure if the penguin tanks are that much of a problem. Just don't let them live for too long, I guess. Just hit them as soon as you can. Okay, so this is the first, like, real kind of difficult boss. One of the main things you need to worry about in this is priority. Oh god, horrible axe spike. But I guess it's just an order of what is most dangerous to least dangerous. Now, there's an enemy that hasn't come out yet that you're going to have to prioritize, but for now, your worst enemy is going to be the Sanabots, so just take out those first. What I'm doing here is taking this time while things are still easy to build up Equinox crossbow shots, because once you have all of your like bullets loaded up, so like when you can fire 800, you're gonna do a bunch of damage like this. If you look at the bottom, Equinox crossbow is severely underrated. I see almost nobody using it, yet it does pretty good DPS. And then once you've done your DPS, you press X and do even more damage. So it's a win-win kinda. Well, that's not how you use that, but you know what I mean. Anyway, by charging up my crossbow on those 2 Sanabots, I've built basically enough bullets to last me the rest of the game if I make sure to pull them back each time I use them, so that I can deal the most damage possible to other stuff. So this wave introduces my worst enemy, the penguin copters. They're not terrible if you watch out for them, but you cannot forget about them because they wind down the tree so fast. It's ridiculous. But fortunately in this strategy we use Equinox Cannon, so the way to take those out is just hit the tree. If you see a copter, like a bunch now, just hit the tree. And if you're using Ocean's Authority, the Z move can also take all of them out in one hit. But that's about the only purpose it serves, other than knocking back seals. However, I still recommend using the summons to knock back the seals. So this is, speaking of seals, this is the wave where the seals come. So this is the second time we're getting Sanabots. However, there's also some of the copters. So at the beginning there, if you didn't catch that, I just spawned some stuff with Ocean's Authority to slow down the seals, but also to hit those copters. I did a authority Z on the tree so that that would hit the copters as well, and then I use the Fang of Gilgamesh trains to hit everything, just to take care of them for a second while I wind down the Sanabots. It's really just all about priority. You have to hit the strongest stuff first and the weakest stuff last. So as you can see, I lost a little bit of health here. And I think at this point I go back to the tree and heal. No, okay, never mind. The healing in general got nerfed, but it's gotten a few small buffs recently, which is really nice. And you can also, of course, repair the tree every once in a while when you need to. So at this point, when there's only Mecha Seals down, you can really see it over here. Once I focus my attention on the seals, you can see that they have made basically no progress at all, because they get stuck on the geysers when you're using the Aqua Flank summons. That's why they're very overpowered for this event. So once again, as I've said multiple times, please use Ocean's Authority. It's so good. Look, they've gotten nowhere in the entire wave. Absolutely nowhere. It's almost a little sad, really. The Mecha Seals have gotten nothing done. So yeah, at that point you can just use your Equinox crossbow to absolutely pummel them, as a character I know says. And then I just started throwing haymakers. Now this is wave 14. If you've noticed, I haven't used my Fang nuke yet. I save it for wave 14 because this is the only time when it's like highly recommended. It could probably save you, although it's not required. So I talked about priority earlier. You're gonna want to prioritize the Grinches first because they do even more damage than the Copters, and it's because they're in such a huge group. But you want to just take down the Grinches first, and they also can do a lot of damage to you. Once you have the Grinches down, make sure there's no Copters on the tree, and then you can go to the Sanabots and take them down. It's kind of just like a pattern, you know. First you get the Grinches, and then you get the Copters, and then you get the Sanabots, and then you get the Seals, and then the boss, and you know. So I've been using my shield a lot just as a quick like iframe during this, but once you're actually fighting Comet, instead of using your shield, use Ocean's Purity instead, because you need to save your shield, and I'll explain why you need to save it when we get there. But that's the Sanabots down, and everything else down due to all the other stuff I had going on. So I may not have explained every single thing, but for one, ask any questions in the comments if you want, and for another, you can kind of see what I'm doing, and that also acts as an explanation. So for this wave 14, it can be a little more challenging if you're using a Staff of Conflict, because they're coming all from different directions, but considering that you basically stop each one that you hit, I really don't think it's going to be a problem. So as you can see here, with them all stuck on the geysers, which I don't know why they get stuck there, but they just do. I'm able to take out all of these seals pretty easily. This game is fun. What do you guys think? Do you guys like Balanced Craft Wars? I think it's fun to come up with strategies and stuff. Also, thank you guys just for the support recently. Obviously I'm not a huge YouTuber, but I've seen some considerable growth recently. I'm at like, what, 700 subscribers? That's crazy. That's a lot of people. Alright, so this is the boss. We're on Comet. So there's two major things that you're gonna want to look out for here. Oh yeah, also, I didn't say it earlier because I was talking about my feedback and all that. But you want to equip Seal while you're hitting those. You want to equip Equinox Seal while you're hitting Mecha Seals. While you have, like, you know, a little downtime to take a break, just so that you have a chance to equip that. And the Twilight is gonna help a lot with the DPS against Comet. So anyway, as I was saying, there's two things you need to look out for. Number one is this big beam that he's doing right now, where he spins around the whole map. And the second thing you're gonna want to look out for is the clap. Now, if you do get clapped, and the way to stop by getting clapped is to keep your distance from him, but if you do gets stunned by his clap, then you just want to use your shield immediately, because you're not going to be able to access your weapons while you're stunned, which obviously isn't good. So you can't use Ocean's Purity while you're stunned. So you want to save your shield, because if you're stunned and you don't have iframes, then you're gonna get pummeled. So if you ever get clapped and get stunned and fall to the ground, use your shield. Otherwise, if you need to heal, you can either run to the tree real quick and get your health back with Fang of Gilgamesh, or you can use Ocean's Purity if you're far away from it, like I was a little earlier. And also, he gets downtime right here, as you see, every couple of claps, so you can use that just to charge more bullets with Equinox crossbow to deal damage to him. So, as far as I know, since some of the nukes got disabled in here, there isn't really a fast way to kill him, but you just have to wind him down. You can see there, I got stunned, and he started shooting me. If I didn't have my shield, then I would have died. And another thing, Duelist's badge, even though it got nerfed, it's still really good for this event, and it's still a good item in general, because even though it got nerfed, that doesn't change the fact that you can completely absorb and not take any damage from one instance, no matter how big it is, unless there's like a bypass, which I don't know if there is, but this does not bypass. So in some cases where this, if you were on like half health, for example, where that big beam when he spirals around could have killed you, it didn't, because your Duelist badge just completely absorbed it. Duelist badge is pretty expensive though, I think, so I guess if you're skilled enough you could be okay without it, but still, I definitely recommend it. And Comet doesn't have any like phase 2 or anything like that, so you can really just sit here, not sit here, but just like focus, because once you've established what you're going to do from the start, you can just sit there and keep doing that until the end of it, because it's not really going to change. And make sure you use your nukes as well, you know, Fang nuke, what else, the Seal nuke, just all the nukes. So Comet's almost dead here, which is pretty nice. He got another downtime. And there you go. That's it. Comet is dead. And that's basically the whole event. I don't have one of the most, like, I don't want to say easy. That's the wrong word. I just don't have one of the most automatic strategies, simply because I'm not a fan of just using a whole, like, summoner set and all of that. Yeah, as I'm saying right now, that was a pretty fun, pretty neat event. As long as you know what you're doing and you practice a little bit, it's not that difficult to figure out. What was I typing? I forgot what I said here. Oh yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. For the most part, I can guarantee while the event is running, I'll be actively answering questions, and maybe after the event, I'll answer your question. Expect a delay if the event's over, but while the event is running, if you have any questions on like how to obtain any items or anything like that, let me know. Well, may you all get arbitration. See ya.